Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our Q&A with Dr. K. Welcome, Dr. Klaper.
Hi there, Annie. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, so let's get started with the questions. Our question today is simply, how much sleep is the right amount?
Oh my, very innocent sounding question, but it has huge import. And again, a minute or two before we get into numbers of hours, just a pitch for getting enough sleep. Sleep is so important. When I was young and I was an intern, I was up all night in the hospital wards and the operating room, and then I had an office full of patients the next day. I was a couple of cups of coffee, I plow right on through, and you think you're getting away with it. But as the years have gone by, uh, my body's let me know that sleep is really important, and we don't get away with anything. If I go home nowadays, especially, I'm now, granted, I'm 75 years old, but if I'm up all night with a patient in the hospital, whatever, I certainly feel it the next day and the day after that. It really knocks my clock off severely. And the more we know about sleep, and there are now sleep specialists, doctors who get into the physiology of sleep in the sleep labs, etc. Sleep is so essential. I mean, every animal does it. Certainly our cave ancestors did it, and people around the world do it. Why? The brain renews itself, it restores itself while we are sleeping. The entire body does. Hormone levels reset themselves. Inflammation subsides while we sleep. Wound repair happens while we sleep. Babies grow while they sleep. One reason why babies sleep so much, they wake up a millimeter or so longer than when they took their nap. This is how essential, how integral sleep is, and you don't want to cheat on it. But the more we learn about brain physiology, I had never heard about the glymphatic flow. What is that? Well, it turns out, I certainly learned early on in medical studies about the cerebral spinal fluid, this crystal clear liquid that is made in the brain and bathes all our tissues in the brain, and it acts as a cushion. And it's made in the brain, it's absorbed by the meninges, the covering of the brain. And I just thought it was a constant. Oh, it's not constant. Turns out that when we are sleeping, when we're in deep sleep, a number of the nerve tissues around the blood vessels and the lymph channels that carry this fluid, the brain tissue, it doesn't shrink, but it relaxes a bit and allows more fluid to flow. My tiny space opens up around the blood flow and lymph channels, and that allows an increase. The speed of the cerebral spinal fluid increases, maybe almost doubles. And it's like someone turned up the faucet and flushed out the whole system there. And it's one reason after feeling all, been up all night or whatever, and you lay down and you were feeling all groggy and brain foggy, and you get a couple hours sleep and you wake up, wow, I'm bright and clear. How did that happen? Well, your glymphatic flow flushed out a lot of the waste products and the lactic acid and things that can build up in the brain. And that's another reason why sleep is so important. We don't want to deprive our brain of its ability to cleanse itself from the waste products and the toxins that build up. So, we don't get away with anything in this life. Nothing for nothing and darn little for 25 cents, my English teacher told me. And you don't want to cheat your body on anything, nutrition, whatever, and you don't want to cheat it on sleep. Because it ages you and it allows chemical injury to happen to our precious brain cells. So with all that structure laid out here, well, the answer, how much sleep do you need? Well, the numbers are starting to come out, and it seems that 7 to 8 hours seems to be a good average. Now, if you're teenagers, they sleep a lot. Their body's still growing, and they're notorious for that. But if you're a 25 or a 28-year-old medical resident, you may have the energy to, as I used to work all night, etc. But again, I think a toll is taken. You're not as sharp the next day. So shoot for that 7 or 8 hour window. Now, as I say for these numbers, we have to realize, like in all the science, there's a bell-shaped curve, and most people are in that 7 to 8 hour range. But there's some people way out in the tails of the curve. Some people gonna need more than that. I need 10 hours, I need 11 hours, or I'm not functional. And there's other folks, man, 4 or 5 hours, I'm ready to go. Okay, and if you're one of those people, honor that, get enough sleep so you feel good. That's ultimately the final arbiter. Get enough sleep so you wake up refreshed, so you don't feel hungover or tired. Then by definition, it was enough sleep for you. And if you're one who can get away with it just a few hours, okay. But realize that your body ages, as the decades go by, that's going to change. And allow that to happen and gracefully accept, I need more sleep than I used to. And that's okay. That's natural arc of life there. So sleep enough so you wake up refreshed. It's probably allow 7 or 8 hours in your schedule for that to happen, and allow your sleep needs to change. Now, some elderly folks, 75, so again, those elderly folks up ahead of me there, they sometimes find that they can't or they don't need much sleep, and maybe 4 hours and then they're up, and that's called the sundowner effect, and family doctor can deal with that. That sometimes they need some extra nutrients in their brain, etc. But it's not that common. Most people who aren't in that age category get enough sleep to make you feel refreshed, and allow 7 to 8 hours for that to happen. And take naps in the afternoon. There's nothing wrong with that. I know what's wrong with me. I have to lay down in mid-afternoon, but I feel good when I get up. There's nothing wrong with that. Take that afternoon nap, and even a 20-minute nap, an hour nap. People say, well, I wake up groggy, but that in 5 or 10 minutes, that feeling is gone and you are more refreshed. So absolutely become an afternoon power napper if your body tells you to do that. And otherwise, shoot for that 7 to 8 hours, and you'll stay on the good side of the sleep fairy there if you do that.
Okay, that's some great information. So thank you so much. I hope it is helpful to the viewers out there wondering how much sleep they should get. So thank you, Dr. Klaper. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time.